I'm Sarah Shavers, and this is the extent in which limited access to sports affects people with disabilities. Sports are a vital part of life. They provide health benefits, connect people, and brighten futures. 18% of children and adolescents in the United States have a chronic condition or disability, but opportunities in fitness and activity programs are severely limited. Every person, regardless of ability, deserves access to sports. Children with disabilities have lower levels of cardiorespiratory fitness, lower levels of muscular endurance, and higher rates of obesity than typical children. Many are unaware of the importance of sports for those with disabilities, but this is very important. Sports spark social behaviors that many people with disabilities would not have otherwise. Without social skills, people are at risk of being rejected, having increased difficulties in school, and being under or unemployed in their adult years. A study measuring activity and involvement showed over half of the people with disabilities had never attended community groups, athletic clubs, or sports events in the previous 12 months. These statistics led me to my question. To what extent does limited access to sports affect people with disabilities? People with disabilities need increased access and awareness to sports and sport-based activities because of its overwhelming benefits in improving their quality of life. Many people with disabilities feel that they cannot participate in physical activity. According to Murphy, chief of the Division of Pediatric Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation at the University of Utah School of Medicine, in addition to the physiological benefits of decreased body fat and increased fitness overall, regular physical activity for children with disabilities has been shown to help in controlling or slowing the progression of the chronic disease and improving overall health and function. Motor development closely correlates with mental development. People with disabilities typically show lower strength, speed, endurance, and coordination. People with disabilities have the most to gain by increasing their fitness level and in turn the most to lose. According to Garcia Falgueras, a neuroscientist who specializes in neuropsychiatric disorders, playing sports regularly could have an effect over the serotonin release, making stronger our immune systems to better cope with certain diseases or to prevent them from appearing. Children with Down syndromes may have less muscle strength than children without disabilities. However, they show increased exercise and endurance and work capacity after participation in a specialized aerobic training program. People with autism typically lack many social skills, and these skills include behaviors like eye contact, joint attention, sharing, turn-taking, and shared interests. Sports promote independence, increase social acceptability, and improve quality of life. A study was conducted to show sports' impacts on people with disabilities, and it showed a subject's largest improvement was his ability to contribute relative information by focusing on one topic in conversations. Sports instill feelings of confidence and accomplishment that can be deficient in people with disabilities. It can build confidence, allowing them to speak up, help them understand their bodies, provide social connections, and a refuge from violence in their homes and communities. Through taking part in sport activities, a person with disability reconstructs the concept of their role because they are less focused on stereotypical beliefs and more on particular actions taken by being physically active people. The Special Olympics was established in 1968, and it is now the largest recreational program for children with intellectual disabilities, with 1 million athletes participating in 125 countries. However, there are 200 million people with an intellectual disability, so worldwide only 0.5% of these people are gaining physical fitness and social benefits through this program. This percentage does not discount the progress the Special Olympics program has made. Rather, it highlights the importance of increased accessibility to fitness programs. Special segregated education has been the main way to educate children with disabilities throughout most of the 20th century. Yet this system has failed to provide disabled children with the knowledge and skills to take their rightful place in the world, and it has failed to empower them. Often, legislation that is meant to improve the lives of people with disabilities causes subtle disableism and prejudice. An example of this is in the Canadian Charter for Rights and Freedoms, where a subsection was added that isolates and marginalizes individuals and communities of difference as a problem that needs special attention instead of integrating and including these athletes in its original charter. One possible solution is a program called Super Sports, which combines same-age peers with and without disabilities. These students select recreational activities of interest, practice the activities during physical education classes in school, and participate in community-based recreational activities. A total budget of $1,500 was provided for each school, and this funding was designated for transportation to community recreation sites, rental of equipment and facilities, and purchase of equipment for the school. Another program is Blaze Sports, which provides quality programs and services in physical activity, sport, and recreation to youth and adults with disabilities. Additionally, the Motor Activities Training Program, which was added to the Special Olympics in 1988, aims to provide comprehensive motor activity and recreation training for individuals with severe disabilities. The main way to spread accessibility programs is to increase people's knowledge about them and the benefits that they bring. Lack of awareness is a dangerous threat to change. So to counteract this lack, there needs to be more information spread through social media, news networks, schools, and many other ways. The Motor Activities Training Program can greatly improve people with severe disabilities and widen the door of accessibility to physical activities that is all too often closed. However, approximately 25 U.S. and 10 foreign chapters are actively involved in providing this program to athletes with severe disabilities. This program is only benefiting half of the U.S., thus many people with disabilities are still not getting the access that they need. In order to help more people, this program's reach needs to be doubled. The Super Sports program embeds integrated recreational activities within physical education to ensure greater access to students with and without disabilities. This program can be very easily embedded because it is not after school hours, and any pre-existing coach can be trained to become a super sports instructor. In response to this program, a father talking about his son's experience said, "I was struck by his description of getting to know kids he had walked the halls of school with for years, but had never interacted with in any meaningful way. He talked about Kevin, who was really cool, who was an accomplished cartoonist, who had a great sense of humor, and who liked the same kinds of music. No longer was Kevin an anonymous special ed kid. He was a valuable and talented person."
All right, a couple of questions. Question one, how did your research question evolve as you moved through the research process, and did it change?
So going into it, once we found out that the overlying theme was sports, I knew that I really wanted to do something centered or based loosely around Special Olympics, because that's something that I've been very passionate about for a long time. So, but going more into my research and finding that the Special Olympics program actually only helps 0.5% of these people with intellectual disabilities, I wanted to move my question more focused on just accessibility of everybody with an intellectual disability rather than just those people competing.
And then secondly, how did or what other questions emerged from your research? Like as you went through the process, then what questions emerged, and then why are those questions important?
So the questions that emerged for me was more so just not being able to find the information to answer those questions, so they're still there. So I had trouble finding the information for like the legal impacts in the United States. I found the Canadian, the Charter for Rights and Freedoms, and that talked about integrating people with disabilities into the specific charter. But in the United States, it's more difficult to find charters like that specifically state programs embedded into schools for children with disabilities.